Hey, happy Friday, y'all. Hope you had a wonderful week. Excited to be here. My name is Justin Moore, founder of Creator Wizard, where I teach you how to find and negotiate your dream sponsorships. Today, we're going to be talking all about the top 5 media kit mistakes. This is something that I get asked about constantly. Do I need a media kit? What should be in my media kit? What stats do I need? What are brands looking for? And so, those of you guys who have followed me for a while know that I have a rather polarizing view on media kits and their utility in your own creator business. But it can be helpful. And so we're going to talk through some of those things today. So let me know where you're tuning in from today. Drop it in the chat. Depending on where you're tuning in from, I am going live on YouTube, my private Facebook group, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, all of those things. Let me pull up the IG chat as well. If you have any questions, obviously my time is your time on these live streams that I do every single Friday. And so if you have any questions, please drop it in the chat because I definitely will be answering those shortly. And if you're tuning in on TikTok, I have now realized that it is a thing to share a live stream. So this is how much of a noob I am. So if you wouldn't mind sharing the live stream, I got like a bunch of new viewers from folks sharing it last time. So I appreciate that. You guys are teaching me new things every single day. We got Spring Boot Learning from Clarksville, Tennessee, tuning in on YouTube. What's going on, man? We've got Sundays with Emily, Bryce Rue. What's up, Bryce? Tuning in on IG. We've got Crystal Chaos and Marley tuning in on TikTok. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Okay, so let's just get right into it because this is a juicy topic today. Okay, so top 5 media kit mistakes. So the first media kit mistake is having your About Me section first. How many times have you seen a media kit, or maybe this has happened in your own media kit, where you open up the media kit and the first page is like, "Hi, I'm Justin. This is how many followers I have on all these platforms. Here's a little bio. Here is, a little bit of information about me. Here's the demographics of my audience, yada, yada, yada," right? How many times have you seen that or done that yourself, right? Because it seems obvious, right? You want to start it off with a bang, let them know what you're all about. But in reality, what should be the first page is case studies and testimonials, because that is what the brand cares about. The brand pretty much knows all of that other basic information about you. Otherwise, they wouldn't be reaching out. Right. And so I think that oftentimes we feel this need to make it all pretty. You look at the media kit templates, you buy them online and you do it on Canva or whatever. Right. And that's what it chose to do on that. But you have to look at it a little bit more strategically, because what are you trying to communicate with a media kit? Well, the first thing they open it is you want to just knock them in the face with social proof. Right? How have you achieved results for other brands and other partners? That's really what they care about. And in particular, how have you helped brands in their particular category? Right? So they can make an apples to apples comparison between what they're asking you to do and, what you are, proposing that you can do. And so, the most important thing to think about when it comes to actually construction of your media kit is that they're basically like, it's one thing for the brand to reach out to you and, you'd be like, "Here's my media kit." And then it's another thing entirely for you to actually include your media kit in your pitches, which is another no-no. And we'll get into that. But you have to think about it from both of those lenses, right? The most important thing I think to think about when it comes to strategy with respect to your media kit is what are you trying to communicate by providing this document to someone, right? It should not just be a catch-all. Okay, I'm just going to send this, let me know what you think. You just kiss it and throw, release it into the void, right? Which is what a lot of creators do, I think. And so I'm here to communicate to you that it's so important to put your best foot forward and, illustrate how you have helped other partners achieve success. That's the most important thing. And so again, I know that this is perhaps contrary to conventional wisdom, but that's why I'm here. I am going to dispel these myths that you have to be, obvious. Okay. So first of all, the other thing that is important is that you still want to include that information about me, your bio, all that stuff, but put it at the end, right? That's the appendix. That's the thing because the reality is that when a brand is reaching out to you, if it's a situation where a brand has actually reached out to you, they're making an inquiry, are you interested in this collaboration? Chances are that they've already done sleuthing. They've looked at your bio on your blog, or they've looked at your about section on, your bio on your social handles or whatever, right? A lot of people have this information already floating around out there. And so chances are they're not just emailing you cold and like being like, hey, how's it going? Like, send me all this like basic information about yourself. No, like as I've explained in a lot of other content and other videos, like they have already kicked the tires on you pretty substantially before they ever reach out to you. And so you should not be duplicating that information and being like, hey, here's all the stuff that you already know about me, and then here's the stuff later down in it. The other reason why you want to introduce as much brevity into your media kit as possible is that they're not going to read all 20 pages of it. I've seen some media kits that are like 15 pages long, and I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? They're not going to scroll that far down. They're going to look at one, maybe 2 pages, maybe 3 pages at max, and then they're going to be like, okay, looks good, right? I'm sorry. I know you've spent a lot of time making your media kit like pixel perfect, but I guarantee you that brands and agencies are not studying it in as much detail as you think they would, right? So it's just really critical to have that mindset. What is the most important thing that you want to communicate, and put that first, okay? What's up, Yvette? Thanks for tuning in. Guys, we got 21 people tuning in on TikTok. Thank y'all. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, or I've heard that giving hearts does something too. So can you give me some hearts? I think the hearts are free. I don't know. I have like no idea what I'm doing on TikTok, honestly. Like most of the time. Someone DM'd me the other day and was like, share with me your like a success, like your secrets on like how you're growing on TikTok. I'm like, I am the absolute last person to ask about TikTok growth advice, because I probably posted 300 TikToks that did nothing, and then all of a sudden I started doing well. I do know I kind of am starting to get a sense of like what is working well. Creators really love templates. Like all the videos where I've done where it was like templates, like, oh, this is what you say to a brand when they tell you this thing. Like, what do you actually say? People tend to really like that. And so like that, but that's the extent of it. That's all. And so I've done that, but other than that, I don't really know. I don't really know what I'm doing, honestly. Growth, you probably know growth is growth, like social media growth. There's lots of other creators that you can follow with respect to that. My thing is sponsorships, brand deals. That is my wheelhouse. That's all I talk about, and so I try to stay in that lane. And so I do not dispense advice related to growth at all. A little bit I do, but it's not. It's more related. Growth is more related to like how that growth can actually augment your sponsorship strategy. Not like, oh, how do you get to like 100,000 subscribers or whatever? Because you know me, like I'm not. Followers is like a not a great proxy to your expertise and your influence as a creator, right? So, okay, with that being said, we've got Molly. What's up, Molly? Tuning in on IG, Bobo Visuals, Rob, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. What does this say? Being Yalissa, you give tips and we love that. Yes, Yalissa, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We've got Marcus tuning in all the way from Chicago today. Oh man, joining the live stream even on vacation. Marcus, what are you doing, man? Come on, turn this off. Go enjoy your vacation. But I appreciate the the dedication. Pawnees, what's going on, Pawnees? All right, guys. So let's get to point number 2. Okay. So the second media kit mistake, okay, is not having case studies or testimonials at all. I can't tell you how many media kits I've seen where all they have in the media kit is you open it's like 2 pages or 1 page even. It's like about me, my audience, my demographics, maybe 1 piece of sample content. Here's my contact information. It's like, no, like the reason that you can create a media kit, the reason that it can be so powerful at strategic points during the negotiation is that you have information in the media kit that they cannot access publicly on social media. That's the whole point, right? Is that you can show them, a testimonial or, the results, conversion rates. You sold this many products. You caused this, their website to crash or something because you sold out the products, or, you were able to drive, 150 downloads on their app, or, brand awareness, right? It drove this many impressions, or, engagement rate, or whatever, right? You were able to deliver, 10 different cut downs of this content if it was a content repurposing campaign that they could use for advertising, whatever, right? It allows you a format to go much deeper into your past partnerships, right? And so like that is what you need to be doing at the end of every single collaboration, every single sponsorship that you do with the brand is summarizing that information, ideally asking the brand or the agency for a 1 or 2 sentence testimonial that you can include in there. How potent is that when a potential new partner comes to you and says, hey, have you ever done something like this before? And you'd be like, I have the perfect case study to showcase to you. So I go into this in extreme detail in week 4 of my course. It's all about case studies and testimonials and things like that. But it's just absolutely critical. If you do not have a page like this or multiple pages like this in your media kit, today is the day to add that. Okay. I have had creators ask me, when it comes to adding case studies and testimonials to your media kit when you are just starting out, what if I don't have any case studies or testimonials or haven't done any paid partnerships with brands? And my advice there is always to create one, right? You can create a case study from an organic piece of content that you have posted that performed really well, right? So maybe you're talking about a particular product, or the whole point of it is to help the brand envision what it would be like partnering with you, right? And so if you could be like, this is, I talked about this product, I did a, review, or I did a tutorial or something like that. Here's some screenshots of some amazing comments that my audience left for me. I just went out and I bought it, right? You've probably seen that in your comment section before. People like have just anecdotally said, oh, I went and I purchased it. Thank you so much for sharing this type of thing, right? So that even anecdotal evidence that you can provide to a brand and kind of make a little mini case study. So again, they can be like, oh, if we hired Justin, I get it. He would make this would be the creative angle that he would use to talk about our brand, right? And so again, like it all comes down to creating a portfolio for yourself, and that doesn't necessarily have to mean that it has to have been a paid partnership, right? Even if you were provided free products by a brand, right? Again, it doesn't have to be a paid collaboration. You could say, I was provided these products for free, and this is how the campaign went. Right? The campaign went, right? It was, this many views or this much engagement or impressions or, whatever, right? If you have an affiliate link, that's even better. You can say, oh, it drove this many sales or app downloads or whatever, right? So just get creative. You don't need to be confined to, feeling like, oh, I don't have any paid campaigns, so I can't work with brands. It's like, it's that cold start program. It's the chicken and the egg cold start problem. It's like the chicken and the egg, like, how do I get deals if I've never done deals in the past? And the brands are asking me for, like proof of past partnerships or whatever. Just be creative, right? And Molly said, yes, I used your case study template from the course, and my average sponsorship went from 3 figures to multiple 4 figures. Look at Molly. Molly, I'm going to screenshot that because I love that. That's amazing. Look at that. That's so cool. Super cool, Molly. I'm so stoked to hear that. Like that's an amazing testimonial if I've ever seen it. My goodness. I do have a couple more points here, but I'm getting blown up with questions on all of these different platforms, y'all. This is crazy. D and fam, what's up, D? Thanks for tuning in. D and fam says, make the media kit and have it on standby. Every time a brand asks for it and you have to update your stats, you're going to feel like a boss. Look at that, D. Love that tip. Debsy says, how do you get these testimonials from brands that you've worked with? You literally just email them and you say, thank you so much for such a wonderful collaboration. I was out of curiosity, would you be willing to share 1 to 2 sentences about your experience working with me that I could potentially include in my future media kit? That's it. Let me say that again. Okay? It's as simple as that. If you have ever worked with a brand and you want to ask them for a testimonial, you say, thank you so much for this amazing collaboration. Out of curiosity, would you be willing to share 1 to 2 sentences about your experience working with me that I could potentially include in a future media kit? Thank you so much. That's it. That's all you say. And 90% of the time, they'll be more than happy to do it. And then you can go and you can include that in your media kit on that part of your blog where you talk about your partnerships. It takes because what do most creators do? You open their media kit and they just have a bunch of brand logos. It's like, oh, past brands that I've worked with. right? And, it's like just a bunch of logos. It's like pointless. Like, okay, thank you. What would be even better is like you actually screenshot the content, put a little triangle play button on there that's clickable that the brand can actually click out and go look at the content. And then right below it, there's a testimonial. Oh my gosh, Justin was so amazing to work with. He was so professional. He turned around everything on time. Would absolutely work with him again. Amazing. Like, why are you not doing that? Do that. Okay. Oh my gosh, we got my boo, April Athena 7, tuning in on TikTok. Hey baby, what's going on? And yeah, Flex and Fly says the Queen April Athena 7 is here supporting her hubby. Thanks, boo. Thank you so much, boo. Okay. Okay. Marcus Presents has a very important point here about asking for testimonials, and I'm here to dispel this, okay? I have spoken with a lot of creators who are nervous or scared to ask for testimonials from brands. And I think it's rooted in lack of confidence that the campaign went well, right? You're concerned that if you reach out, the brand's going to be like, well, you didn't drive any sales, or we weren't very happy with the amount of views on the content, or you didn't get that many likes or comments. It's like, right? That's the fear. It's like you have to get over that as a creator, because in all likelihood, the brand is going to be thrilled with the campaign. See, here you are in your little corner in your little universe crafting content all day. And so what you're doing is you're comparing that sponsored piece of content to the rest of your content, the rest of your organic content, right? And so in your eyes, it may have been a failure, but in the brand's eyes, they're likely thrilled. And so you need to lean into that. And the other thing too is that if the campaign indeed did not go well, you need to have the opportunity to actually learn from that. So rather than sticking your head in the sand and being like, oh, I don't want to know if it didn't go, I don't want to know if it didn't go well, like you actually need to lean into that and be like, oh, thank you so much for sharing that information with me, that, you weren't super thrilled with the outcome. I would love to learn a little bit about why that's the case. And so you go and you analyze, you think to yourself, like, what could I have done? Maybe the brand can share with you some data there. And then you can actually spin that and turn that into another partnership with that brand, because you're the creator that is willing to listen and willing to course correct and willing to, potentially pivot to a different direction for the next piece of content. That like 99% of creators are not willing to do things like that. Right. And so if you're the creator who is, you're going to instantly differentiate yourself. It's like, it's not even funny. Okay. I was on a podcast with Nathan Barry, who is the CEO of ConvertKit. If you know ConvertKit, the email marketing provider for creators. And he said something very interesting, which was that we were talking about this topic of case studies, testimonials, and things like that. And this is the CEO of a $25 million a year company. He said to me, if we went out there and hired a creator, hired an influencer to talk about ConvertKit, share with their audience, and the signups, if the KPI, the key performance indicator, the metric for success was for that campaign, signups, right? Like new user signups to ConvertKit or whatever. If they worked with an influencer and the signups, maybe were lower than expected, but that influencer went and they put together a nice summary, a nice post-mortem of the campaign and said, here is everything I learned from talking about ConvertKit with my audience, right? Here are some snapshots. Here are some screenshots of comments that people left. Oh yeah, I've thought about switching to ConvertKit, but I'm on MailChimp right now, and it just seems like such a big pain in the butt to actually, like convert or migrate, right? Or other, that's just an example, right? If that creator took that feedback and said, here are the top 3 things that my audience said from, as a result of this partnership, here are the 3 learnings. Here you go, ConvertKit. He said on the podcast, we would, like, without a doubt, work with that creator again, because they came to us and they gave us like insights into the market that we could potentially turn around and utilize for future campaigns. Right. And so like again, this is validation from a CEO of a $25 million company. Right. So it really does, you going the extra effort to actually, summarize a lot of this information and a lot of these learnings and insights and analytics that you can glean from these partnerships, and bringing that back to the brand. It's going to give you so much more confident to ask for these testimonials, because, even if regardless of the scenario, whether it turned out well or it didn't turn out well, or it was just like, right. It was just kind of like blasé. You're still going to be moving in a positive direction rather than status quo. Right. Um, Molly says, "Oh my God, I needed to hear this so bad. Thank you." Yes, Molly. Yes, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. That this was a help. This was an unlock for you. Skincare Nerd said, "What podcast was this? Sorry, I missed it." No problem. So this was Nathan Barry's podcast, who is the CEO of ConvertKit. And if you go to nathanbarry.com, or just search like Nathan Barry Justin Moore podcast, that'll probably come up on Google. I think the name of the podcast was Game Changing Newsletter Sponsorships. I believe that's what it was called. So hey, we got Shova, we've got Carrie, we've got VLTO No. Let's see, we've got Intolerant Furball. Thank you so much for tuning in. How to include testimonials into a media kit. Screenshot the email, copy and paste. Hey, Julia. So in terms of like how to actually include them, stylistically, design wise, it's kind of up to you. I mean, the way I like to do it is basically just like screenshot of the comment, little play button so that the brand knows that they can click it and actually view the live content, and then just a quote right below it. Like it doesn't need to be fancy, and just kind of have a page illustrating all that. It would be a lot nicer if you could have more of a full page format. I do have templates in my course that I have like a lot of templates actually for how to actually visualize these case studies in a more robust format where it actually, you're, actually putting the deliverables, kind of some behind the scenes information, and, results, testimonial, things like that. And so, yeah, so I do have that on my course, but you can do it yourself. Like, you can absolutely just add that into your media kit, but, kind of use your own design inspiration. Why are names so hard? Ask me, how do you make your video clarity so clear on IG Live? Well, my friend, I am going live using Restream, which is a live streaming, multi-streaming software that allows me to go live on, I think I'm on 10 different platforms right now. And yeah, that's how I'm able to use my DSLR camera and make it look so high quality. So I appreciate you noticing. Okay, let's see here. I am trying to block some spammers right now, so give me some patience. Oh my goodness. Okay, here. Okay. All right. People blocked. It's called Restream. And if you go to the description box of any of my YouTube videos, I am a Restream partner. And so you can just click the link and try it out for free. So yeah, go to the any of my YouTube description box. Okay, let's move on. I've got a couple more points to talk about before we dive into Q&A. Okay, so the third media kit mistake is having a pricing and packages page. This is a mistake that I see a huge amount of creators making, which is that they hey boo. Oh, come here, baby. They can't see you. I'm like having a conversation with someone off screen. Look at this right here. My wife came in here. Come here, come sit. Look at how beautiful she looks. What on earth is happening here? Dang, she flew open the door and made a comment about my flip flops. It's like, oh, no, I came to show you my. Come sit on my. Come. Ooh, yes. Come on. Look at the. She's having a date without me, guys. Today, she's having a date with her best friend.
Sometimes your lover is your best friend. You know what I mean? I mean, not lover.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second here.
My food lover. Justin doesn't like oysters like Nini does. So oysters with Nini is like the thing I look forward to. Hi, friends. Dang, how are you?
How come you didn't get this fit for me? I like this fit.
Excuse me, I just bought it. Okay. Like, how dare
Actually, no, this jewelry is mine.
Yeah, see, I'm wearing jewelry Justin gave me, though. Mm-hmm. Long story short, get paid, y'all. Get paid.
The tip of the day. Very helpful. Very, very strategic.
You know what? I said to Justin this morning, I'm like, why is it some people don't feel like they deserve the good things that happen in their life? Anytime anything good happens, I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. I truly believe in my heart of hearts you blessed me. But why y'all denying good things happening in your life? If you don't open up your heart and your mind to good things happening, like lots of money, like think of that, think about that bag. If you don't open up your heart and your mind to that, how you gonna get it? Be like, oh I would like to get paid 20 grand for this post. No, be like, yes, And I would charge even more if you have more deliverables. Okay? Get that in your mind. You deserve that money, y'all. You deserve all of it. You claim that. Claim it. Take it. Take it, boo. Get on that Bora Bora vacation. Get that DoorDash money, y'all. For me, let me tell you, I work for money. I don't work for money, but I work for food. Like, I literally will spend all the money I have on food. Yeah, make that money, y'all. Get that DoorDash. And by the way, DoorDash, y'all need to work with me. Stop choosing the low price people over me. Stop it, DoorDash. How dare you? Y'all, one time DoorDash reached out to me and they didn't pick me. They picked someone else. Of course, this $2 person. Ugh. But I was so sad. And that person buys likes. I was so mad, y'all. I was so mad. I was like, how dare you pick them over me? At least the people that like and comment are real people. They got robots over there liking it. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, claim it, y'all. It's yours. Claim it all. It's yours.
Oh my God.
Did you like it?
I mean, oh my God. Can you give me a tissue? I just like, I'm bleeding now because I like scratched my face. I have this like, you see this thing on my face? I have a war wound. I was like roughhousing with my son and I was like tickling him. Thanks, baby. Yeah. I was like tickling him. And he was like, going like this. And like, he caught me with his nail and it looks like a war wound, but I rubbed my face and I just like re-scratched it. So, oh my goodness, I'm like bleeding now. I should actually make up like a better story about this. Like, you think this looks bad? You should have seen the brand, No? You should see what was I going to say? I was gonna say, like, aren't the live streams so much more engaging and interesting when April's here? She brings a different type of energy. Man, it's like, I don't know what happened, man. It's like really bleeding now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Did you like that? I thought that was pretty funny. You think this looks bad? You should see the brand, right? Okay. So, I'm totally like distracted now after that. After the interlude from April, she brings a different type of energy. I love it. Whew, okay, let's dive back into it. What was I talking about? I was on number 3. Okay. Okay, yes. So the third media kit mistake is having a pricing and packages page, y'all. Okay. So I think 99% of creators have this. Oh my God. I'm like losing track because I'm bleeding right now. Okay, let me start over. Here we go. Let me get centered. I'm good. Whew. Okay, here we go. Let me take a swig, actually, to recenter myself. Get my mind back on track. Okay, here we go, guys. The third media kit mistake is having a pricing and packaging page. And the reason for this is that when you are communicating with a brand and they come to you with a, set of deliverables, a brief, they already have in their mind how they want the campaign to go down. What you're communicating to them by sending them their media kit is, I don't care about anything that you just said to me. Here's how you can work with me. That's what you're saying to the brand when you send them your media kit. And that does not feel great to a brand, right? Because basically what you're telling them to do is like, oh yeah, go look at my pricing page and my packages page where I have all this stuff listed out. And then you do the math, right? You do the math of how much it's going to cost to work with me, right? And so that is basically, you are reinforcing a very toxic power dynamic with the brand when you do that, okay? I am all for you coming at this from an level playing field, right? But what you do not want to do is act completely disengaged from what they are trying to accomplish for this campaign, right? You want to be engaged and say, yes, I'm super excited about this. I read all of the deliverables. I read this email in detail, and based on that, here's, what the investment would look like to work with me, right? You don't send them your media kit with your pricing, because for another reason, you are going to be forever anchored to that price, especially with agencies. If you send them your media kit with pricing, man, they're going to store that away in their repository. They're going to send that around to everyone in their office. And so every time that they come to you with the deal, they're going to be like, this is your price, right? And so completely disregarding whether you've grown a lot right? Whether you've decided to change your pricing. And what happens is that they oftentimes will build you into their budget or build you into their plan based on a media kit that they have archived of you. And it's not a great feeling to come back to you and they have sold you through to their client, right? As like, hey, we can work with Justin on this campaign because, we know that his pricing is this. And then they come back to you already having sold you through to the client. This happens all the time. And then you'd be like, sorry, my rates are double now. And then the agency has to go back to the brand and say, I know I said that Justin's locked in, but he's not because he doubled his pricing. And then you look like you're doing that ambiguously. And even though it could be justified, right? But the agency has egg on their face. The brand has a bad taste in their mouth. And be like, oh, I don't know if we want to work with that influencer ever again because they're like wishy-washy, right? So it's just like you can completely avoid that scenario by not giving them this like document that they can point to and being like, yeah, but you said your rate is this. Right? It's so much more productive to come back to them on a deal by deal basis and said, based on the SOW, based on the terms of this particular deal, this is the investment. Not, this is my standard pricing for every single time that you want to reach out to me and work with me. That's not how it works. This is the most fundamental thing that I teach in my content, in my courses, in my coaching, in everything, is that your pricing for every single deal is going to be different. Okay? Janet said, yep, I was able to get nearly 1,000 more on a recent deal for asking their budget and their deliverables. Boom. Love to see it, Janet. Am I bleeding anymore? I'm sorry, guys. This is chaos. Yo, we got 26 people tuning in on how many people? I think there's like the most people I've had across all my like platforms on live streaming and stuff right now. DM fam said, yeah, food makes me happy. Marcus says, looks distinctive, demonetized for gore. Oh man, hopefully I don't get demonetized for gore. Yeah, I don't think this is that gory. Sorry, guys. DM fam said, yeah, this is how we all walk out of negotiations, LMAO. If you've seen that video on my channel called how to survive your first sponsorship negotiation, that was my thumbnail. I actually had my thumbnail artist like I was just like smiling like this, and then he like put like photoshopped one of my teeth out and gave me like black eyes and everything. It was so funny. It was like one of my favorite like thumbnails I've ever done. So funny. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And then thank you for mentioning that Skincare Nerd said, yeah, you were talking about packages. So here's the other point about, it's one thing to have pricing, but people, a lot of creators say, well, why can't I have packages, in my media kit, right? Like that gives the brand some ideas of like how they could work with me. And yes, it can be helpful for brands who have no idea what they're doing. Right? But the vast majority of the time, when a brand reaches out to you, they have some sort of idea about what they want you to do for the campaign, right? So by sending them your media kit in response and basically ignoring what they have said to you and saying, here is, 5 different packages you can, work with me on, right? You are saying to them, hey, these are the only ways that you can work with me. Even though that might not be the case, you may be flexible, right? If they came back to you and be like, oh, well, none of these packages really fit what we're looking for, you may just say, oh, that's okay, I can design something for you. But a lot of brands will be like, oh, this looks rigid. This is the only way we can work with Justin. And that's the last thing that you want to illustrate. What I am not saying, I need you to hear me. What I'm not saying is that you don't use packages when you provide to them your proposal in the email. Of course you do packages. That's a core fundamental thing that I teach. You always provide packages, but you don't give them some sort of rigid structure of like, here, these are the ways in which I work with every brand. That doesn't feel good at all, right? You want them to feel like whatever you're providing to them, whatever you're proposing to them is a fully customized plan, right? Whereas that may not be the case. You probably have like, some template or something that you're using that you can, for every deal, you're kind of restructuring it based on what the brand is asking of you. Of course you need to have that, but that is private. That is not something that you provide to the brand, every single brand that reaches out to you, right? So you need to basically the structure of these negotiations should always go down like this. Okay. The brand comes to you, they say, this is what I want you to do, okay? And then you ask questions. You say, thank you so much for that information. Here is the gaps that I need filled before I can ever provide you accurate pricing, right? I need to know the usage terms. I need to know, is it organic usage only? Is it paid usage, right? I need to know the term. I need to know the exclusivity terms. I need to know the category. I need to know the terms. I need to know the deliverables, right? What platforms, what format? Is it photo? Is it video? Is it long form content? Is it short form content? How are you going to be using this? Are you going to be repurposing it? There's so many things. There's so many gaps that you need to fill in before you can accurately price any deal, right? And so your job is to be a detective. When a brand reaches out to you and they're asking you whether you'd be interested in a collaboration, sure, can you answer all these questions, right? You don't just provide standard pricing, right? So for every single deal, do not feel discouraged or do not feel anxious that you're going to scare them away by asking these questions. And if you do scare them away, that's probably a good thing, right? Because that probably is not a brand who would have been serious anyway. That's probably not a brand who would have paid you what you're worth, right? So it's got to be this back and forth activity before you can provide any sort of accurate investment numbers to a brand, okay? Yeah, Skincare Nerd says, got to make it tailored to them. Jeff XFit says, asking what their budget has never worked for me. They always reply with asking what my rates are. So the one tip I have for this, Jeff, is that it's not just about replying and be like, what's your budget? Because that's what a lot of creators do. The brand says, oh, we're interested in collaborating. And the only thing the creator says back to them is, what's your budget? And what does that communicate to the brand? That communicates that you don't care about anything other than the money. Does that feel good to the brand? No, that feels terrible, right? You need to ask their budget at the very end of all the other questions. And what you need to lead with is questions to illustrate that you are very engaged and interested in helping the brand win. So what form does that take? It says, you basically say, what would success look like for this campaign? What does that communicate? That communicates that you are actually interested in the outcome, not just how much they're going to pay you. So I have kind of a whole template and whole structure of how to think about this in my courses and a lot of my content and stuff too. But Jeff, I would suggest that one of the ways in which you could see a little bit more success asking about budgets is don't lead with that. That is the very last question you ask, right? It's called value stacking, right? It's this concept where you just illustrate to them that like you actually care about what they're trying to do. You're not just like oh, pay me. That's how it sounds when you're like, what's your budget? Right? And so there's ways in which you can kind of psychologically twist this to make the brand more interested in actually being honest about what their budget is. Okay. Yeah, Jeff says, good points. Of course, man. Happy to help. Travis, we've got passive income tips. First time catching a live from you. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate that so much. Okay, so I got some questions in here. I definitely want to get to these, but I do want to round out the top 5 media kit mistakes. I want to get back to this because again, I want to make sure I get through all these. Okay, so the 4th media kit mistake is sending the same version of the media kit to every brand. How many times have you done this? Are you guilty of this? It's okay, right? This is something that a lot of creators do, especially when they're starting out. They make the media kit and then they don't touch it for a year or 2 years, and they just like drag it. They have it in their folders on their computer or on their phone, and they just drag it and attach it to the brand. Oh, great! Great to hear you're interested in collaborating with me. Here's my media kit, right? How many times have you done that? I get it. It's okay, right? Like we did that in the beginning too, but you absolutely cannot have a one-size-fits-all approach to working with brands. Okay. For example, if a brand comes to you and they say that, success for us for this campaign, remember, you're asking all these questions about, what success would look like. And they say, we want to drive sales. Like that's going to be the focus of this campaign. And you send to them a media kit with a case study that is all about brand awareness. It's like, oh, we got this many impressions and we got this many comments and engagement. The brand's going to be like, okay, that's not helpful at all. That's apples to oranges comparison because that was not the goal of the campaign that they are trying to activate, right? And so this is one of the things I teach in my course is that, your case studies, your testimonials and all the focus of that in your media kit, you have to have the same campaign goal type as the brand that's reaching out to you. So if they say that this is a conversion-focused campaign, you better be switching out the case studies in your media kit to only be conversion-focused, because now you're going to be speaking their language, because every case study that they look at in your media kit will be aligning with the same goal type that they have, that they communicated to you. Do you understand, right? It cannot be this kind of apples to oranges comparison, because it's not going to be useful. It's not going to be effective to them. Similarly, if you create content in multiple product verticals or multiple, content verticals, let's say you are a travel and family creator or something like that, right? You need to have case studies that speak to each of those content verticals. So if a travel brand reaches out to you, you don't send them a testimonial from like working with like Walmart or something, right? Or a family brand. That's like, no, like you want a testimonial from another travel bureau, right? Or a hotel or an airline or something like that in a similar category, so that they know that you have influence and expertise and you have helped other brands in that same category achieve results, right? So it's an absolutely critical concept to, really wrap your brain around, because, most creators do not do these types of things. And if you take the extra step to actually be thoughtful about what you're actually sending to the brand, you're going to have like, here's the thing. Let me say this in much simpler words, okay? If you send customized versions of your media kit to brands that are reaching out to you, okay? This is what's going to happen, is that it will be so much easier to justify paying you a higher rate, okay? If they're comparing you with like a couple other creators that they're talking to, trying to figure out whether they're going to pay you, right? When you send them a media kit with a case study from a brand in a similar category with a similar campaign goal type, they're going to immediately think, well, yeah, Justin may be, 2x this other creator here, but we were able to put our finger on like, hey, like he's actually helped this other brand, very similar brand, achieve results. I think we're going to pay him because this other creator here can't show us anything. Does that make sense? So it behooves you to take the extra 5 minutes or whatever when you're crafting a response to this brand to actually go into your software, Canva, PowerPoint, Photoshop, wherever you created your media kit, and just swap out the case study and save it. And this is the case. This is the media kit that you send to this particular brand. That extra effort, that extra 5 minutes will pay off in spades. Okay. Lulu said in the chat, said, Justin, what happened to your face? Yeah, is it still bleeding? I think it's dried now. Yeah, Lulu, I was roughhousing with my son. I was tickling him. I do this thing called a tickle attack, where I tickle my kids, and he just was like flailing like this and just like caught me with his nail. Like, whoo, it was like perfect. It was like, whoo, it was like a quick slice. And yeah, so the rest is history. And it was like healed. It was like scabbing over. And then I just like rubbed my face just now when I started the live, and then it started like bleeding again. So just my luck. Lulu said, where can I create an interactive media kit? I have ours on Canva. I like Canva because it can be interactive. You can have GIFs. You can have, you can have other, videos and images and stuff embedded on there and stuff. So I actually do all of my, presentations. I do all my presentations on Canva as well. I love it. I just did a talk 2 weeks ago at the Creator Economy Expo, and I had it like on Canva, and it was really fun, like have GIFs and stuff like that. Anyways, we got Whitworks in the IG chat. What's going on, man? If you guys are not following Whitworks, you gotta go check out his platforms, his YouTube channel and stuff. If you're into tools or woodworking or craftsmanship and stuff like that, definitely check out his stuff because it's like super high quality. I guarantee you this guy's going to blow up. So what's up, man? I'm stoked to see you in the chat here. And Whit says, I've used Photoshop for 20 years and I pay for Adobe, but I use Canva mostly. It's just too freaking easy. Yeah, man. Same with me. I grew up on the Adobe suite, and Canva is just too seamless, man. So that's what I use. That's what I use as well. Okay, guys, let's round this out, guys. Let's talk about number 5 before I get into the Q&A. So the 5th media kit mistake is using it as a crutch and not researching brands before you pitch them. Or anytime a brand emails you asking if you'd be interested in collaborating, you just say, sure, sounds great. And you send them your media kit, right? That is the last thing that you should be doing, okay? And the vast majority of creators, this is their approach, okay? You will differentiate yourself from every other creator out there if you just take 5 to 10 minutes to do research, to Google, right? Look at the brand's, website, look at their blog, look at their jobs board, right? Look at their YouTube channel to see what campaigns they're running. Use Instagram as a research tool to see what campaigns they were running last year before you ever respond to the brand. You go and again, dive down a little mini rabbit hole here and you educate yourself on where the brand is in their journey right now, right? What are they trying to accomplish from a marketing perspective? Is their stock price way up or way down right now, right? Are they facing headwinds from their competitors, right? Are they trying to, create an e-commerce presence because they're mainly brick and mortar right now? Like it's so important for you as a creator to come in with knowledge around like what is going on the brand's day-to-day life, because so many creators come at it from a very selfish standpoint of just like, what's in it for me? How much are you going to pay me? Right? Like, how much work do I have to do? It's like, right, like that's I've received literally tens of thousands of emails from creators over the lifespan of running my agency. And the vibe that most creators give off is what's in it for me. Whereas the creators who come at it from a standpoint of like, let's co-create this. Let's make this a mutually beneficial partnership where we can both get these amazing things out of it. And yes, money is a byproduct of doing this, but brands and agencies will be willing to pay that creator so much more money because they're just so much more pleasant to work with. They seem like they care. They seem like they care about the outcome of this campaign. It's not just a money grab. And by the way, those are the creators that they choose to hire again and again, right? Because it's just such a better experience, right? So by just doing an ounce of research into what's going on in the brand's world, you're going to make so much more money over the lifespan of your creator career. I guarantee it. Okay? Yeah, Whitwork says, so true. Win, win, win. And you know what? I like talking about, I'm really glad you brought this up because this concept of it being win, win, win is critical, and not enough creators think about this, which is that a perfect brand sponsorship is the following. Let me restate. A perfect brand sponsorship is win, win, win. What does that mean? It's a win for the brand. It's a win for you. It's a win for your audience. That last piece is what most creators miss. Okay. Because again, a lot of creators are coming at this from like, oh, how much are you going to pay me? How much work do I got to do? Right. Whereas if you can come at it from a perspective of like, okay, yes, I'm going to make some money on this. The brand is going to be super thrilled with the outcome of this, with the results of the campaign. But my audience is also going to get something out of it. They're going to get exposed to a new product or a new service or a new software. They're going to get a discount code. They're going to get a free trial of something, right? They're going to be exposed to something that they've never heard about before. That is a win. How can you make your audience win too? Because then what are you going to see in the comment section? Oh my gosh, congrats on the partnership. This is so awesome. Thank you so much for, letting us know about this. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, yada, yada, yada. Right? And so this vibe, this fear that you have of people feeling like they're going to say, oh, sell out, you're just like trying to make money, like all this stuff, completely disappears. Right? Because you are actually serving your audience as well. Okay? Janet from Perky Perkins says, I have offered to always jump on a call or Zoom to discuss campaigns. And you know what, Janet? That is what differentiates you from the vast majority of creators, because a lot of creators are terrified to do stuff like this. But when you are willing to jump on a call or a Zoom with a brand, you are going to be able to establish rapport with that brand so much quicker than 10 email exchanges, right? You get on the Zoom and you make the small chat and you ask them about where they're based, and you ask them, you share about your weekend, and it's all, sometimes people are just like, oh, like really, do I got to do that? But if I tell you that could result in you making 2 times the amount of money on the deal, would you do it? Because you will, right? Because when it comes down to that, and when they are trying to decide, whether to move forward with you or another creator that they didn't talk to, They're going to go to the person that they establish rapport with, the person that seemed nice, the person that seemed easy to work with. I can't tell you how many times I have chosen to move forward with an influencer who was more expensive through my agency because it just seemed like the campaign was going to go better. It was going to go smoother. They were more responsive. They were more communicative, right? And so all of these things that you're fearful about, your metrics and your viewership, it doesn't seem great, right? Like, just realize that a lot of brands, a lot of agencies value a lot of other things beyond your vanity metrics. And it comes down to your professionalism oftentimes. So that is the core of what I teach in my course. That's the core of what I teach in all my content is you have so much to bring to the table. And if you are professional, if you can think to yourself that, I'm not just a creator, I'm also kind of a consultant. I'm coming into the brand's business. I'm helping them understand what works well on this platform that I built up my expertise and influence. If you can come at it from that perspective, free of imposter syndrome, ratchet up that confidence, you're going to go very far in this industry. Okay? All right, we got a bunch of questions, guys, and I want to dive back into this. Marcus says, I love the idea of proposing a call. Absolutely. D says, I love hopping on a call. And D says, it's all about that nurture, even in the negotiation stage. That's why you got to make sure you are pleasant to work with. And, I have one very simple tip. If you are a creator who is nervous about hopping on a call with a brand or a Zoom or something like that, I have a very simple advice for you. Just ask questions. You don't need to know anything. You don't need to have confidence. All you need to do is create a list of 10 questions based on research that you can ask the brand on the call. How big is your marketing team? Tell me a little bit about what has worked with previous campaigns and what didn't work so well. Have you worked with other creators before? Tell me a little bit more about the campaign and what you're hoping to accomplish. What would success look like for you for this campaign? Right? Like very simple questions that you can brainstorm ahead of time based on your research, and you just listen. You just listen. Right? And then if they try and nail you down and be like, okay, well, so how much is it going to be? You don't say anything. You don't give numbers. You don't give ballpark ranges. Thank you so much. This was really helpful. I'm just going to, I need to give it some time to think this through, and I'd love to get back to you. Okay. So if you're concerned that they're going to ask you a bunch of questions and stuff like that on the call, you just say, no, I'm not going to tell you that. You don't say that, but right. You just say, I'd love to get back to you. I need to think this through. Just ask questions. Okay. Someone in the Facebook chat, I can't see your name. I apologize. Confidence was on my fortune cookie and success. There we go. We're talking about fortune cookies today, y'all. DN Fam said, talking brand deals is easy, but landing them is hard. Know what to say and then learn what to do, and boom. Love it. Okay, so let's dive into some questions. We've got a lot of questions in YouTube and the TikTok chat, so let me pull up some questions here. Nihilith Explorer. Nihilith Exploradora. I believe I'm saying that right. I made a YouTube video on my experience with a company, and they ended up using it for their ads. Yet I was just asked for permission. I said yes, but I ended up getting no pay. What's your opinion on how I should go about that company? Is it a total loss? So this is something that happens very often with creators. Is a brand will approach them and they'll say, oh, thank you so much for talking about us. We'd love to reshare it. We'd love to repurpose it. Will you give us the rights to do that? And in the creator's mind, it's just like, oh my gosh, this brand has, 1 million followers on their social platforms. This is going to be an amazing exposure for me. And that's the mindset, right? And I get it. I totally get that, especially when you're at the outset of your journey. You think it's going to lead to this amazing exposure for you. But in my experience, those types of things literally never amount to much, right? And so it's so important that you capture the value that they're receiving by getting money in exchange for granting those rights. Okay. And so let me explain to you why that's so important. They are using your name and likeness, you are providing your testimonial. And that is huge for them to because those, let me restate. When you give up your name and likeness to a brand to be able to repurpose and run ads with your content, those ads perform so much better than the ads that they run on their page. It's not even funny. Okay. And so if you think about it from a pure ROI perspective, from a marketing, so think about it. If the brand didn't get your content to use as an ad, they would actually have to go out and pay a production company or an ad agency, actors, actresses, someone to edit that content. Then they have to go pay Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to run the ad. So when you look at those two things, they think to themselves like, oh, are we going to go out there and spend $25,000, $200,000 to get these ads that we can run, or let's just go out and hire get some influencers to give us free content? Like, no, like they got to pay you for that. They're getting so much value out of that, right? And so if you are trying to figure out, if you're a creator who is trying to figure out how to salvage a brand where you gave away the rights to use your content as ads and you weren't compensated for that, it is salvageable. And let me explain how. You can summarize reasonably how that ad performed. Like, there is transparency, pages on Facebook that you can go and actually see how much money they've put behind certain ads. You can see how it actually performed. And so you come back to them and be like, I'm so thrilled that this ad performs so well for you. I've been seeing it. You're super upbeat about it. You don't come at it from a super contentious standpoint. This is what a lot of creators do, is that they will give away the rights to, their content to run as ads for a brand, not realizing that they should have been paid. And then they come back to the brand and be like, how dare you? You need to pay me now. No, it's like, I'm so happy that you saw success with this content, right? Because I saw, people were DMing me, oh, they were, we were running ads, right? You were super excited. So you come at it from a perspective of excitement, right? Again, you have almost no leverage here because you already gave away the rights to it, right? And so now you come back and say, hey, I have a couple more ideas how I can create some additional content for you. This time there is going to be an investment associated with it, and there's going to be a usage term that you can use it. But here's all the learnings, from this first time we worked together, first time we collaborated. Now it's going to be $2,500 or whatever. But I'm going to give you 5 videos now that you can repurpose with a bunch of different angles, with a bunch of different sound bites. How about that? Right? So there are creative ways to come back to these types of brands. But I have a question here from Having Fun with Fashion says, but a lot of people give away their rights. And you know what? My answer to you is that you have zero control over other creators who give away their rights. And it accomplishes nothing by being like, oh, well, I guess I should do it because everyone else is doing. Like, no, like, you have to illustrate to the brand why they should pay you, even if you've given away rights to the brand in the past. Going back to this concept of value stacking, if you come to them and say, hey, I saw that piece of content, that ad worked well. Here is all the other things that I'm going to do for you now, given the learnings from that last collaboration. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, the investment is going to be $5,000 now. The onus is on you to educate the brand why they need to pay you now, whereas they didn't in the past. Right? Is this helpful? Nihilitha Exploradora says, that sounds great. Thank you very much. I will be using that. Do you recommend putting a dollar value on it? So it's very important I'm glad you mentioned this. When you are a creator who is going back to a brand and trying to ask for money now, whereas you were, doing it for free before, it's very important that you set the expectation very early on that this additional collaboration, this next one, will cost money. But you need to use this concept of value stacking where you're not just being like, hey, I'd love to do that same thing again for you, but this time for money. No, from their perspective, they're going to be like, well, why should I pay you now? Like, you gave it to me for free last time, right? No, you need to propose something entirely different, a different angle, a different creative angle, right? You're proposing something fundamentally different now that will make them think to themselves, oh, I get it now. I get it why I have to pay this creator now. Right? Fleeksy says, it is helpful. Thank you. I'm just listening to this while I make my coffee. What type of coffee are you making? Let me know, because I'm a coffee fanatic. Whitwork says, so good, man. Thank you. I hope to see you in the next cohort, man. Whitwork's join the waitlist for my upcoming course, Brand Deal Wizard. Y'all, I want to make a quick little plug here. We're almost at the end of time, but I can't even tell you how excited I am for the next cohort of my course, Brand Deal Wizard. It is a 4-week course that I actually teach you. if you like this was just an hour, right? But if you want to learn, like, again, how to find and negotiate your dream sponsorship so that you stop leaving thousands on the table, if you want to meditate about pricing psychology, package strategy, how to do the, execute a deal with precision and make the brands want to hire you again. If you want to learn how to nurture brands so you can convert them into, one-time transactions to long-term partnerships, absolutely join the waitlist for Brand Deal Wizard. The next cohort enrollment will open on June 10th. The first class date is June 21st. So it's for every Tuesday starting on June 21st. So June 21st, June 28th, July 5th, and July 12th, I believe. And we have so many things that we're going to be doing differently this cohort. We're going to be we're doing office hours again. We've got Dee in the chat, and Dee runs all of our office hours. She is, alumni of the course. She is absolutely incredible. And we're going to be actually doing some guest speakers this cohort. I'm so excited for that. We're going to do some guest speakers, still kind of trying to line those up. Hey, oh my gosh, Dee, I didn't even say this, but Dee also mentioned that I just hit 5,000 creators on my newsletter. And it's like been a whirlwind. So many exciting things happen. So yeah, we had 42 creators participate in the course last cohort, and I am expecting that to be even bigger this time. So if you are interested in finding out more information about joining the waitlist, I do typically let in people who are on the waitlist a little bit early. So if you really do want to make sure you grab a spot, definitely join the waitlist. Just go to branddealwizard.com. And I did want to mention one other thing, which is that, what was I going to say? Oh my God, what was I going to say? I don't know, but Hello Happy Mom says, your newsletters are amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. One thing I need to get better at is I need to get some testimonials for the newsletter. I have a lot of testimonials for my courses and things like that, my coaching, but I don't have a lot of testimonials for my newsletter of like people finding value in the newsletters. So if you have ever gotten a deal from my newsletter, will you email me? I'm just Justin@creatorwizard.com. Send me a little testimonial. What would be amazing? Would you make a video for me? If you've ever gotten a deal from my newsletter, be like, Justin, he got this deal for me. I just signed up to the newsletter and all this stuff. I just need to get better about getting testimonials, for the newsletter, so I can hype it up on social media and stuff like that. Molly says, I'll send you a testimonial today. Yes, Molly. Thank you. You are amazing. Thank you, Molly. This is how amazing Molly is, by the way. I think I've told you guys that I hired a copywriter for my next course, which is Gifted to Paid. This is a completely separate one that I'm launching later this year. And Molly was so kind that she actually jumped on a Zoom call with my copywriting team to do research, just ask her questions about it, why she participated, all this stuff. So Molly, I'm forever indebted to you, and I appreciate you so much. And I think I had a question. Facebook user, how much is the course? So the investment for the course is $2,000. That's a one-time fee, or there will be an installment plan this time where it will be $695 for 3 months. So if it's something that you want to be able to spread out over a couple months, I did want to provide that option for folks to be able to participate who weren't able to do the one-time investment. But yeah, it is going to be $2,000 or $695 for 3 months. So there was another question that I had in the TikTok chat that I didn't want to miss. Fleeksy said, making a triple espresso shot, just waking up at 2 p.m. Content creator life. Wow, 2 p.m. That's impressive. That is very impressive. Okay. Emerald Outlaw says, someday I would love to take your course. It sounds awesome. Emerald Outlaw, I appreciate that so much. And honestly, if you cannot, what my goal with all the content that I share is I want to help you make more money regardless of whether you join the course. I don't care if you ever join the course. I would love to have you, obviously, but my goal is to help you make more money with my free content. That's why I share so much. I know that there's always going to be creators. There's always going to be people who want to go deeper, right? They want to be in an environment with other creators. They want to learn from other people. They want to just grow and have that community. And so that's why I created the course, is to be able to, be able to lock that in. And if if that's not something you're able to afford at this time, I honestly, I have so many testimonials of people getting way a lot more, money for their deals just from my TikToks and my free content, short form, all that stuff. So honestly, like that's the goal, is I just want to share as much as possible. And I know that, yeah, my philosophy in life is, oh, hey baby, love you. Have fun. Drive safely. Okay. Bye-bye, love you. Is that the lip burning one? No. Okay. Love you. You look good. Damn. So yeah, so my philosophy in life in general is, I believe that if you really want to make money, like doing anything, any business, anything like that, is just serve and help. That's all you need to do, right? Just come at it from a giving mindset, a great humbleness, graciousness. Give as much of yourself as you possibly can, and people will want to pay you. The money will come. Right. And so like, that's the way I've approached everything with all my businesses, my agency, our stuff personally as creators, where we've made millions of dollars over the years working with brands. And that's the perspective that I take into, oh, my the Bluetooth turned on the car. And so it started playing on my phone. And so that's just the perspective that I've taken throughout all this. Like, I have, I do my coaching, y'all. My coaching is $1,000 an hour. Like there are, and so like that, my courses and things like that will more than make up for all the free content that I give to me. And so that's why I'm able to give so willingly and give so freely. Whereas I had someone say to me, like on one of my TikTok comments, like, man, like I most of the stuff that you share, I feel like everyone else would have like made me attend a master class or something and like paid for it. And so like, that's just the difference, is like, that's the other thing, is I don't need to make money from this stuff. Like my wife and I, we have our own creator business. We do lots and lots of deals ourselves personally. So this to me is just like kind of a fun project. And so making money and doing all that stuff on it, on this Creator Wizard stuff, is just kind of like icing on the cake. And so for me, it's just, this is a passion project, and I just want to help everyone win. It also comes from the perspective of like, I truly believe that there is so much money to go around. It's not this like scarcity mindset. It really is one of abundance. And so if I can bestow, if I can help, help you learn anything that will help you improve your life or grow your creator business or make more money, like that's a good thing. That's going to grow this entire space. That's going to mean more advertising dollars coming into the space, and everyone is going to win. And so that's the perspective that I always have. And yeah, I that's where I'm always coming at this from. And yeah, Emerald Outlaw says that your content has been so helpful. I appreciate that. One question that I wanted to answer, because Grateful Glamper did ask it a few times. And I know we're going a little bit over today, but I do want to get to this. What about long-term agreements? Good idea or bad idea? We have some clients who would like a 6-month agreement to lock in current rates for video sponsorship. So let's talk about the pros and cons of locking brands in for longer-term collaboration. So a pro is that it gives you some predictability in your income. Right? That's one challenge as a creator, is like knowing how much money you're going to make from one month to the next. So, it could be pretty nice to be able to have that clarity and that ability to forecast what your revenue is going to be like 6 months out. I think that that's pretty awesome as a creator, don't you? If that means, whereas that maybe you could look at this as a con, if that means that, yeah, there's a chance that you could grow significantly over those 6 months. And, yeah, you maybe could have like made more money from that particular brand had you not locked it in. I mean, again, it's like there's an opportunity cost with everything in life, right? And so as long as you're pricing that in to any long-term agreement, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Right. And so the other advantage to doing a longer term partnership with the brand that you can, tell them, is that you are willing to meet with them semi-regularly to course correct. So, if you're doing a 6-month partnership, maybe you're posting monthly, you come to them and you say, hey, every month, once a month, we can have a Zoom call, or we can meet and we can talk about what went well and what didn't go so well on the last piece of content. You can analyze the comments of what people are saying. Oh, I wish you would have talked about this feature or this benefit a little bit more. Or, oh, like I wish you would have, focused more on this particular thing or whatever. Maybe there's a seasonal promotion that the brand wants to highlight in the next round of content, right? So that's a big advantage to a brand. And then another pro for you is that you get to continue to emphasize that you're loving and using this product or service to your audience, which will further enhance your credibility. It will make, them want to actually try it. Oh yeah, I remember Justin has been talking about that, for 3 months now. Like, I'm going to go try it, right? There's this whole concept I teach in my course called the marketing rule of 7, which was invented by the movie studios back in the early 30s, where it takes someone 7 times on average to hear about a marketing message before they actually take action. Right. And so the same holds true here when you're working with brands, and you can actually tell the brand that and illustrate that to them and say, hey, like this is a big advantage to like working long term, because we can, it will, as the campaign goes on, we'll see further and, better and better results as my audience continues to hear me talk about this. Right. And so again, like for me, I am all about, as a creator, as a educator, as a coach, I am all about introducing predictability and consistency into your revenue. And if that means that there's some sort of concession that you give for locking in a longer term rate. So here's one of the major things that I teach about longer term deals, which is that you should not be offering discounts, being like, oh, if you lock in a 6-month deal with me, you're going to get a discount. No, what you're doing is you're actually providing more content at that highest tier. So, if they lock in a 6-month deal with you, instead of, 3 posts a month, they get, maybe in months 3 through 6, they get 4 posts a month or something like that. So technically they are still getting a discount on a per content basis, but you're not just being like, oh, it's going to get, it's going to be 10% off or 20% off or something like that. Like, you never want to introduce these kind of funny games that you play with discounts, because then it's like it's never about a cost when a brand works with you, right? No, it's an investment, right? And so they need to see that if they invest in you, they're going to be there's a benefit to them locking in a longer term deal, and it's going to be more content for them, not a discount. If that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so happy that was helpful. Yeah, we went 10 minutes over today, y'all. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for tuning in every single week. This is my record. How many people do I have tuning in on all these different platforms now? This is my record. I have 57 people tuning in today, guys. I have never had that many people concurrently on my lives across all the different platforms. So thank you all so much. It's just so awesome to like know that there's creators out there who, want to like listen to me rattle on about sponsorships every week. So really, really means a lot to me. And another thing I forgot to tell you, I am going to be doing a hiatus on the live stream next week, because I will be speaking at a conference next week in Orlando at VidFest. And so I will actually, 1 week from today is when I'll be speaking. And so I will not be able to do the live stream next week. We're going to be traveling. So I hope you give me some grace there, and we'll make sure to jump back at it for next week. So, or the week after. So have a wonderful weekend, guys. And